Today I'm talking about chilling red wines. Now you might commonly think that that's a bit crazy to chill down your red wine, but actually it is delicious. I've got 4 wines to taste today, and I'm hoping to show to you that actually popping your red into the fridge for about 20 minutes or so before serving is a really lovely way to enjoy wines. As it is, I actually think we serve red wines too warm. We're often talking about serving them at room temperature and then with a sort of a suggested 16 to 18 degrees a bottle. But that's a rather archaic idea about what a room temperature actually is, and is probably more suited to the aristocratic people who came up with that temperature in the first place with their dusty halls back in the day, more like 19th century room temperature as opposed to 21st century with your central heating and these sorts of things. So as it is, when you serve a red wine too warm, it can become a bit soupy and a bit jammy and just a bit kind of blech and flat and flabby and not particularly pleasant. But why do we even chill wines in the first place? Well, you wouldn't really think of not chilling your white or rosé. What it actually does, it enhances the acidity of the wine, and it really kind of concentrates the aromatic compounds as well. So you get a lot more flavour coming through when it's in your mouth. You don't want to over chill, but just finding that right sweet spot just gives so much more pleasure. So the 4 wines I'm trying today will hopefully give you a little bit of inspiration. Generally, you're looking for wines with good acidity and low tannins. So great varieties that I love to look for are Pinot Noir, gamay, some grenache, but I've got a couple of others in here too. So without further ado, let's have a little taste. First up, I have this Pinot Noir from Australia. It's nothing complicated, very simple, very straightforward. I'm looking forward to tasting it. I've had this in the fridge for about 30 minutes, so it's come down, it's got a nice kind of chill on the bottle, and I'm going to see how it fares. And it has just a kind of really bright, easy nose. Think a little bit of cherry, a little bit of raspberry, but super simple. We're not going to overthink this one. And there it is on the palate. A little bit of raspberry, bit of plum, bit of cherry, but very easy. It's, a sub £10 bottle of wine. You're not going to expect a great deal, but I reckon for a hot summer's day, if you've got a barbecue, you've got your friends coming over, pop that in the fridge and you really can't go wrong. This is Le Chouchou from the south of France. We are in the Languedoc region. It's a blend of 3 grapes, Grenache, Syrah and Cinsault. Now the Languedoc is an area that can produce some really big, deep, rich, ripe reds. But if you think about it, historically, those people growing and making the wine probably wouldn't want to have a glass of that at the end of the day. So there was likely always going to be a kind of a lighter expression of those grape varieties. And this is a really nice modern take on that. So as I mentioned, Grenache, it's that lovely lower in tannins, really nice in acidity. And they're great varieties that have a kind of an inherently bright and juicy and fun kind of characteristic to them in a way. And that's what lends them to being so chillable. So it's got this gorgeous colour. It almost looks like a very dark rosé. And I'm looking forward to tasting it. Smells lovely. You do have that like bursting ripe cherry, a little bit of plummy. Very nice kind of red curranty nose too. And that's just gorgeous. Super fun, really bright. Lovely mouth-watering freshness. Again, had that in the fridge for about 20 minutes before serving it, and it's just lovely. I'm looking forward to having a glass of that later already. Definitely recommend this. It's just soft, it's light, it's fruity, easy breezy. Perfect for a summer's day. Another grape variety that I think is lovely, slightly chilled, is zweigelt. So this is from Austria, and this particular wine is from Noir, one of my favourite wine regions to muck up, but I think I nailed it on that one. So here we are in Austria. It's a really lovely grape variety. It lends itself to those kind of lovely bright fruit flavours, thinking of cherries and plums. And again, this served a little bit chilled, it's just perfect because it enhances those flavours. So if you had this too warm, it would all feel a little bit flat and not very pleasant. So let's have a little smell and a taste. It's really lovely nose. Again, that kind of bright cherry just bursting out and some lovely red plums in there as well. Really juicy, mouth-watering acidity. And those low tannins just make them totally approachable as well. I think for £10 you get a lot of wine for your money here. It's that lovely holy trinity of great value, good quality grapes. You can tell that it's been well made. Again, it's not overly complicated, but it's just a very approachable wine. And it's got a nice little kind of crunch and bite to it too. So it's not just a one-dimensional fruit. There's a little bit of a spice edge as well. And yeah, I think when you're looking to these kind of regions that maybe aren't quite as historically famous, with grape varieties that aren't quite historically well known, then you do start to get some good value for money. So I'm looking forward to a glass of that too. Cheers. I've now come to Greece for my final wine. This is a xinamavro, and it's from the northern area of Greece, around the Naousa region, and they are brilliant producers. Now, on the label it says jeune vine, so we've got young vines, but they're not actually that young. They're between 10 and 18 years old, so they've got a little bit of age to them. This is a really great producer, and again, I think xinamavro is one of those varieties that lends itself really well to being chilled a little bit. It always reminds me of a little bit of Pinot Noir meets Nebbiolo, so you get some of those kind of bright fruits, but there's also sometimes a nice kind of a little herbaceous element, which I'm really hoping to find in here today. So it's got a gorgeous colour, really inviting, and it smells lovely. You definitely have that nice bright fruit bursting out. Think of those kind of ripe red cherries. A little bit of a smoky note there too, which I like. Cherries, raspberries, red currants, crushed cranberry, but it does have that nice bit of Mediterranean, almost like sort of wild thyme and wild rosemary coming through. So you've got that lovely balance of both the kind of the upfront generous fruit, but also something a little bit more developed and a bit more depth to it too. So I mean, this with some beautiful kind of barbecue food, some lovely mezze, some dips and crisps, I mean, you're going to have a lovely time with this. It's just got a nice kind of freshness and acidity as well that keeps it kind of lively and fun, and I think that is a perfect temperature, just chilling it down just a little bit. Makes for a very nice glass indeed. I hope this tasting of chilled red wines has given you a little bit of inspiration and maybe a little bit of confidence to try something new if you haven't already tried it. It's definitely quite a fashionable thing at the moment to see chilled red wines, but there's something that have been around for as long as wine has been produced, so it's actually not a new thing. Back in the day, the Romans would have had their amphoras, which had been stored underground, and then in probably more medieval times and the Middle Ages, then the wine would have been stored in barrels down in cool cellars and caves. So really, we're not doing anything new, but I think it's always important to try a new style if it's not something that's in your normal wheelhouse of ideas. So I think there's a lovely range of grape varieties. We've had some grenache, we've had some Pinot Noir, we've had some, lesser known varieties as well with the zweigelt and xinamavro. But basically, if you're looking for those sort of slightly lighter styles of reds, popping them in the fridge for about 20 minutes before serving will really deliver a whole new layer of flavours. So I hope you're feeling inspired and that you enjoy trying something new. Cheers!